Back to Mabopane, where Bheki Cele is currently being interviewed by our colleague Nkosazana Dambuza. He's been visiting the area due to high levels of crime.
The process, we have introduced Brigadier Hobane, who's going to zoom on these cases, including this one and other cases. One happened in 2019, other happened in 2020, and nobody has been arrested. We say bring all those, because these cases emanate from economic thuggery, emanates from the projects where there are people that they believe that they can go around and instruct everybody to give them the so-called 30%, and they call it is radical economic change, the thuggery. So we want to stop that. We have done two things here. We have brought a special team with the KZN approach to investigate those people, but the other one, we have brought a team that will take over the streets here, run by by special forces, by TRT and other forces. They will be here in Tshwane until the situation is stabilized.
Thank you, Minister. Also, the community raised a lot of issues around gender-based violence, just as they did in Potchefstroom. You know, how are you practically going to address this issue, which seems to be growing in the community?
The gender-based violence? Yes. I fully agree with you. You listen to the president. Not once he speaks about pandemic, COVID, and exclude the gender-based violence, which means that is seriousness of the matter. So I raise it here, I raise it wherever I go. I just hope, and I want to call a special on May, don't underestimate, don't underplay it, as you heard some men saying they are also abused, raped. Well, that's okay, fine and well. Police must investigate that. But that should not come close to the understanding that this is pandemic. This is women dying. This is women abused, taken out their integrity and their children. Indeed, we are working on this. We are increasing the number of the FCS units. Those units are specializing on dealing with these issues. But also, one thing you heard me saying, to say, don't ill-treat these women when they come to the police station. We are training special group of people, special women, to be permanently sitting and be able to assist these women when they come there. Don't ask them silly questions. Was that what you are addressing? Was that what time of the night and all that? So that they get used to the response, they get used to the response of an understanding of this one. But thirdly, I know this is a big one, the question of the DNA, that if DNA is not put on the table, is not fixed, it doesn't matter how many of these rapists we arrest, it's not going to work. I want to tell you, almost on daily basis, is a blood on the floor between the management, the ministry, and the policing generally, that this will be fixed. I hope in a very shortest time, we'll be announcing a master plan that will begin to work on this one.
And then lastly, Minister, can we just get your reaction regarding the posters that were put up by the Democratic Alliance in their election campaign in Phoenix?
Well, when I received those, when I received those election posters last night, I asked myself, is this real? Is there somebody really doesn't know and doesn't take on heart what happened in Phoenix? In Phoenix, 36 people were killed. Young women among them, young men among them, old people among them. In a very painful way, even to such an extent that people were not allowed to go and identify their deaths in the mortuary. Even when they are dead, they are not allowed to be seen. We created a special team that has arrested 56 people. One of the people that is arrested there is facing 6 murders of innocent people that had nothing to do with what was happening. Their sin was that they were on the highway. For you to come and put extra salt of racism on this matter, For me, I had always had my doubts about John Stayzesen. I don't have a doubt now. I'm flabbergasted about him. To me, he's nothing else. He's a thug. He's a political criminal that the nation must deal with him as such. He has no conscience. He has no brains whatsoever for him not to find a problem to what happened in Phoenix.
Thank you so much, Police Minister Bheki Cele there, Brother. As you can see, he's going around visiting 2 areas in Tshwane in the hopes that he and his men can curb the crimes in those areas.
Thank you very much. The Nkosazana Dambuza getting a word in there with Minister Bheki Cele, as we were expecting a little bit earlier on. And that last question about these DA election posters in Phoenix, very emotional and very kind of forthright question. It's going to cause a lot of comments, of course, as we are in election mode at the moment ahead of the 1st of November.